So thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. In the room, good afternoon, everyone on the live stream. So I've been asked to give an introduction on how geopolitics and bad debts are interlinked. And I will be very glad to give my perspective on that, but I can tell you already in advance, that's not a really great link. And why is that? Geopolitics is about politics, of course. It's about international politics, so politics with a geographical influence. And bad debt is about an economic relationship. Actually, it's a bad debtor. Debt is only bad when the debtor becomes bad. So it's about economic theory. And politics and economic theory, they don't really go together very well. Politics is about public sector interference, and economic theory is about free markets. And that combination usually does not go together very well. So in free markets, in efficient markets, all information is transmitted into the price of something. And this is the spirit and the fundament of how markets do price, of efficient markets. And politics actually interferes with that fundament of establishing the price. So increased politics usually leads to an increased volatility. And this will have all kinds of consequences, and not always good ones. So what we see is when politics interfere, usually markets do not function efficiently anymore. And markets are not able, and time has proven this again and again, markets cannot price geopolitical risk. And that is simply because with geopolitical risk, the outcomes are sometimes too extreme. And with geopolitical risk, the tail or the residual risk is just often too big. And we can see that, we have seen that very, very recently. So last year, the US and the UK intelligence services were openly predicting, and this was very transparent to everyone, about what was going to happen in Ukraine. And at a certain point, they even predicted the exact day. And markets did not price this in. Markets did not price this in at all. And somehow, the markets, I think, assumed that some political or diplomatic solution would be found. And I remember at the end of January, I think it was last year, that in a large global financial newspaper, there was an editorial, and there was an investment advice. And that investment advice said that it was a really good time to invest in Russian blue chip stocks. And markets didn't price it in. And then now we know that that was a colossal failure, that markets didn't price it in. And I'm afraid to say that I'm convinced that this could happen again. Now we know what happened with the markets. They were spiraling out of control, they were gyrating, and within a few days, 95 to 99% of the value of those Russian blue chip stocks completely vanished and disappeared. So war changes everything. And markets, financial markets, are not able to price it. What it leads to increased volatility, it leads to an increase in risk premiums, it leads to increased interest rates. And this will be negatively affecting economic growth. And this will trigger debts to become bad debts. And bad debts, increasing bad debts, will further trigger negative economic growth. So geopolitical risks and bad debts, yes, there is sometimes a very direct cause and effect relationship between the two. And then we have the tragic consequences and subsequences of the humanitarian crisis and the issues about food and energy security and about trade barriers and about sanctions and basically about everything that restricts the free flow of goods, of services, of capital, of labor, of resources, even of information, that will increase volatility, negatively affect economic growth, and trigger an increase of bad debts. Now, bad debts can be corrected, can be recovered, and for this we need a plan, an action, an outlook, a strategy between the debtor and the creditor, and they need to agree how to solve the bad debt situation. So they need to have confidence in each other, trust in each other, that there is a willingness to pay, that there is an ability to pay, that there is a possibility to pay. And here again, geopolitics is important to create an environment that can then lead to a sustainable debt collection process. So this is my view on how geopolitics and bad debts are interlinked.
Thank you very much.